It's all about making engineering fun with Mouser.
I'm Janine Mooney from Advantage Business Media. We have a wireless design development magazine, electronic component news, PD&D, and some other brands. We basically target the OEM design engineer.
Sure.
So Grant, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your background and how you got started in the engineering field.
You know, I think that it started from a long, long time ago. I trace it all the way back to playing with Lego when I was really little. And the thing that I like about Lego is, as an engineer, you solve problems.
Right.
And a lot of those problems are modular. Lego's perfect engineer training. It's modular, it's a system, these things interconnect. There are rules, sometimes the rules can be bent, sometimes rules can be broken. And it's all about, tinkering around and finding the best solution. So I was interested in engineering even without knowing it from a very early age.
Wow.
And then it moved on to taking the wheels off my Hot Wheels. They weren't Hot Wheels anymore because they didn't have any wheels. I would take apart everything to see how it worked. My grandfather's pocket watch.
Wow.
The remote controls in the house, which really made my parents upset. So, you know, it's that spirit of being really curious and wanting to know how things work.
Right.
So.
Well, at Advantage Business Media, we actually have a new STEM initiative. So it's called Young Mind Awards, and we're basically trying to get engineers, started earlier, middle school, high school, undergrad. So what would your advice be to someone who is thinking about getting into the industry, and what should they do to really be successful?
You know, it's awesome to have, because these days, it's only been in the past maybe 5 years that science, technology, engineering, math have been a focus.
Right.
And as an engineer, I remember a time where it was totally uncool to be an engineer.
Absolutely, right.
And now, through Mythbusters and through shows like Big Bang Theory, it's become popular to be an engineer.
It's
People
cool
are discovering that it's cool. I wouldn't say it's cool again. I would say it's cool, period.
Right. But they're realizing that it is cool.
It can be a fun thing. It doesn't have to be this really dry thing all about math.
Right, absolutely.
People can now see that it's about solving problems.
Right.
And to be able to get in to elementary and middle school students and introduce this to them early.
Right.
That's going to stay with them for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
And hopefully translate into more scientists and engineers.
Right.
I think that the best way to do that is to give them something that's accessible. And, I've been involved with FIRST, which is it's a national robotics competition for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. And what they do is they have a competition, but they go to elementary and middle schools and they use Lego. Lego Mindstorms, as a matter of fact. So it's something that a lot of the young people are familiar with. Like, I would have been all over this when I was their age.
Absolutely.
And then they introduce elements of programming and problem solving.
Okay.
And in that way, you introduce them to the fun aspects of engineering.
Right.
Like,
and they can see how cool and intricate it really is.
Yeah, it's like on Mythbusters, we taught science by taking it and wrapping it in a delicious candy coating of explosions and car crashes.
Right.
And so young people would watch the show for car crashes and explosions.
But they were
learning science.
Right.
So that's
most of the time probably didn't even realize it, but
in spite of themselves, they learned something fun.
Right. And so what's your favorite thing about being an engineer? What is it that makes you love the industry and want to be, a part of it?
there are certain aspects of engineering that are so satisfying. It's solving a problem,
Right.
like getting to a solution. I'm very mission based.
Right.
And so for me, having a problem and finally figuring it out, because a lot of these problems that we're faced with as engineers, they're not easy.
No,
They're
absolutely
very
not.
complicated.
Right.
And sometimes it takes a whole team of people to figure something out. When you finally get to that conclusion, that solution, that's like the moment for me where I'm
Right.
like, yes, this is why I do this.
It's so satisfying to
That's exactly why I
finally
do it.
get there and realize that you've accomplished what you were hoping to.
Yeah.
So, and so what about your partnership with Mauser, and how did that come about? And
I got a phone call from my agent, and he's like, "So Grant, we got an offer from an electronics distributor. I don't know if you heard of them. They're called Mauser." I'm like, "Of course I know Mauser." And here's the thing. I've been on TV for 9 years.
Right.
Before that, I worked in special effects for 9 years.
Wow.
Before that, I was an electrical engineer.
Wow.
I have a degree in engineering.
Right.
So it's something where I came out of school, I needed parts. I
knew.
ordered from Mauser.
Right.
And as a customer, there's always three things I wanted. Are the parts in stock?
Right.
Are the parts affordable? And do they treat me nice?
Right. Right.
And
Those-
Mauser did all three. And that happened really early in my career. And that's why
You stuck with.
I stuck with them.
Right. Right.
And so it's like that brand is like, oh yeah, that's a great brand. They were nice. If I need parts, I'll go back and order.
Right,
And so
absolutely.
when the opportunity came in to partner with Mauser, it's like I'm an engineer. They need someone to be a spokesman.
Right.
Perfect fit. Because
Right.
I already speak the language. I've bought your thermally resettable fuses, and
Wow.
it's like I bought international rectifier parts from Mauser.
Right.
So it's.
So you knew the brand, and you knew
I knew the
exactly what
brand.
you were getting, and
In my career in special effects, I've worked on R2D2, the Energizer Bunny,
right.
Jeff Peterson from the Late Late Show, and all these robots have Mauser parts in them.
Wow, that's awesome.
So 20 years is a long time to be associated with the company.
Right.
In that amount of time, it's been a great relationship, and now it's really exciting to be able to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. And so, what do you think the biggest thing you are hoping to get out of it? Do you want to be continue to be in the industry?
Yeah.
What's in it for you, I guess?
So, the name of this campaign is Empowering Innovation Together. I think one of the greatest strengths that I have that I can bring to our partnership
Right.
is having a fan base that is composed of a lot of young people. And being on TV for 10 years, 10 years is a long time.
It is.
It's long enough for college-age kids to come to me and say, "Oh, wow, Grant Imahara, I grew up watching you on TV.
Right, right.
I'm an engineer, or I'm a scientist, or I'm a chemist or a physicist because of your show."
Absolutely. That's awesome.
And so I've already got that connection, the
Right.
whole generation of
Right.
engineers and scientists. And Mauser can supply those people who are coming out of school,
Right.
getting jobs as design engineers.
And they know where to go, how to get it.
They know exactly where to go, and they're like, oh, Grant Imahara is associated with this
natural-
brand.
Right, right.
Awesome.
That's
I
awesome.
will look into Mauser. So that's what I can bring.
That's great.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
And so, what about for on the design engineer side? What is it about Mauser you think that separates them from from the other distributors?
They are capable. So on their website, they've got a theme going of time travel, and the idea behind that is that the only way that you can get parts before Mauser is if you're going to time travel
Oh my gosh.
into the future, because they have strategic partnerships
Right.
with various manufacturers, so they're able to provide the design engineers parts before anybody else.
Right.
If you if you're working on next generation products, you want
You have to
the
be
newest,
right.
the newest generation of the part.
The newest, the best, the most efficient.
The most efficient, the most memory, the fastest. And a lot of times in a design cycle, you don't have a lot of time.
Right.
And particularly with semiconductors, your design has to start with the semiconductor and everything else
Right.
flows from there.
Right.
And if you can get the newest and the best, which is what Mouser can provide, you're one step ahead of the game.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot. It's good to meet you.
Nice meeting you as well.